whatever you like.
Hello everyone, my name is Joe, welcome to the Genius of Joe. Today guys, we'll be discussing the second integration of my new series, Road to Vogue. If you don't know what this series is or you haven't seen the first episode yet, it's basically my journey into getting my work published into Vogue or any high-end magazine for that fact, or high-end fashion magazine. This will be in-depth, detailed breakdown on how I made the photos and just my general process. For this shoot and this video, we'll go over pre-production / outfits, compromises, lighting, poses and equipment that I used. But before we start guys, I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Joe, of course. I'm a professional portrait photographer looking to help other portrait photographers like yourself not only improve but start to make work that actually stands out to the rest of the competition and land more clients. So if that seems interesting to you guys, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and once I've gained your trust and you want to learn even more about portrait photography beyond these YouTube videos, top links in the description is my one-to-one portrait photography coaching program where I'll personally go on calls with you and I'll give you personal advice that is tailored to your work and your work only, so you can start accelerating your portrait photography progress now rather than later. So if that's interesting to you guys, top links in the description is where you can check it out and learn more. So the model, Francis is his name, he reached out to me about a month or so back for a photo opportunity or a shoot opportunity because he wanted headshots for his acting portfolio. But as you guys can see from the photos, this definitely turned into more than just standard acting headshots. I had no idea what outfits he would wear for this shoot, but he did give me a brief idea of what he was gonna wear, but I had no idea of like exact pieces that he was gonna wear. He said he was going to go for this more 1980s prom look and wear a lot of colourful clothing, so I definitely wanted to try something new with the lighting. I wanted to play with some colour. More specifically, I wanted to use RGB lights to create colour gradients on the background. So I went into my go-to app, Satellite. If you know what Satellite is basically just a 3D simulation of photo shoots and studio lighting and all that type of stuff. And I started experimenting with different lighting techniques. Once I found my desired lighting, I went and took this into my mood board. I make a mood board for essentially every shoot I do now, as I think it's essential to let the model know what the vision you are going for in the shoot at hand. Your model needs to mentally and physically prepare for the shoot, as if they don't know what's going to happen, they're naturally going to feel quite nervous and anxious, which is definitely something you don't want.
One time for the hometown, I got love for it, it's real.
Okay, so if you're more of an OG viewer of this channel, and you may already know this, but I'm a film student, so I go to film school, and you might be surprised by that because I do photography, but long story short, I changed my mind basically about film. But I stayed for my last year simply because I wanted access to the equipment and their studios. But you see guys, the one issue with trying to use studios at a film school, at a university, lectures and lessons are always taking place in the studios for some reason. So when we arrived, right, there was a lesson going on or a lecture going on that lasted another 45 minutes. Not only that guys, right, there was a whole set built in the middle of the white infinity wall that I was going to use. So now we're stuck with this free wall set with a window in the middle and some chairs, like some like furniture and set design. So that made all my lighting plans go straight out the fucking window. No pun intended, of course. So I basically had to think of a lighting setup on the spot, and I think it actually turned out quite well. The one thing that differentiates a good photographer to a professional photographer is their ability to think on the spot and deal with compromises. I feel like on my last few photo shoots, I've been on such a time crunch, like I've been rushing, or I've just had to deal with these little or big fucking issues like this. One good thing that's come out of it is that I'm definitely improved as a photographer and knowing how to deal with situations like this and to work under stressful conditions. The one thing I suggest you not do is express those negative emotions in front of your model. Because if the model picks up on those negative and stressful emotions that you're having, they will naturally absorb that energy and those emotions, and that will not help you with getting the photos and the poses and the mannerisms that you want from the model. Especially in a specific situation like this in my shoot, because of the model, Francis by the way, this was his first time modeling ever, and he clearly stated to me beforehand that he was quite nervous and anxious for the shoot. So the last thing I wanted to do was start stressing him out by projecting those negative and stressful emotions onto him. So guys, keep calm, keep level-headed. You notice you'll find it so much easier to think straight and to think creatively when you approach your photo shoots in this way.
It's be the realest shit I never wrote.
Well guys, here is a little quick lighting setup. First thing, Francis, the model, he's doing a great job so far. Cool stuff. To get into the line real quick, so we've got two softboxes right here, two cob light, 220 watt cob lights to be more precise. I used them on my last photo shoot, just very lovely lights. Yeah, we got the softboxes. I've got the two softboxes because this one's gonna light more the top half of his body, and this one's lighting more of the shoes. Obviously, the issue of a lot of like lighting that some people do, like I used to do, I only used to use one light, so only the top half is really bright and the bottom part goes off into more darkness, so you don't really want that. So obviously I've got that second light just to make sure he's evenly lit all around here. And also I've got a little Arri L7 or L5C in the background there. There's an RGB light. You don't have to use the Arri light, obviously. You can just use a standard RGB light. That's red because obviously it fits the outfit. And yeah, that's a really simple setup. I've got his neg fill here just to add some shadow on his face, just in case. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, that's it for the lighting setup. And well, yeah. So like you can tell from the clip that was just played, this free light setup was not complicated at all. So like I said in the clip, the reason why I use two lights to light my model is because I want the whole body to be evenly lit. So head to toe to be lit the same way. You notice if you only light your model with just one key light and you're gonna go for those full shots meaning showing off the entire outfit and body in the frame, again, you notice how only the top half of their outfit and their body will be quite bright, and then the bottom part will just naturally fade into darkness. So to mitigate this, you wanna get another light as a fill light, aiming at the bottom part of the outfit, meaning it will light up the bottom part of their outfit so it evenly lights the whole entire model. I tried to reduce the shadows a little bit in my lighting, so I angled the light closer to the front of his face, as I still wanted shadows in the photo, right? Because I want to create that depth and there's layers and that 3D look to my photos, but I didn't want to full split light him because I knew that just wouldn't work here. And you may have noticed I had these honeycomb grids on my softboxes, and what that basically does, it controls the light and makes it so it doesn't spill everywhere throughout the room and keeps it more directional. So that will prevented that more, I didn't want to get that washed out and no shadow look in my photos, because again, like I said, I want to still have shadows in my photos to create that depth and texture. And for my third light, and my favorite addition of this lighting setup, was an RGB light set to red, lighting the background behind the set. As he was wearing red and he was in his black and white setup, I thought, why not add that little hint or accent of red in the background behind the window? So again, I had that light there and it also matched his outfit. But when he switched to this pink dress, I had a blue light there instead. And I think it worked so well. I used an Arri L5C as that RGB light. By the way, guys, you don't need an Arri L5C. You don't need that super expensive light to get the same results. You just need a powerful enough RGB light to light the background. And if you don't have an RGB light, you simply buy gels and put the gel over the current light that you have. You could use this with a standard cob light that I have, or you could have used it with a flash even. If you have a speed light flash, there are ways to make it wireless and you could just put a gel over it. I only used the Arri L5C because it was the only thing I had access to, so I don't think I own that light or anything like that. I just had access to it. So I had the light pointing at the wall behind the set because I wanted to create this more evenly lit and washed out look, that washed out red in the background, rather than I have it so it looks like it's beaming through the set itself. Because it was doing that, I just didn't want the red to spill into the set basically. Because it almost looks like the world around him is burning and he's like safe and sound in his little room that he's in, and he's like laughing and it's satanic, it's hilarious, there's a story there. It creates that mystery of like, what is happening outside of this room right now? Is the world literally burning? Is it his own imagination in his dreams, lucid dreams? I don't know. It just creates a whole load of stories that you can tell in those photos, and it shows that lighting really does affect the way your photos are conveyed. And if you're struggling with the basics of lighting and you want to learn how to light your models and how to actually light with intention and have a story in mind when you're doing your lighting, guys, links in the description below is my lighting course, my portrait photography lighting video course, where I will just go over the basics of lighting. So it's a very in-depth video, by the way. It's about an hour long, so you're gonna learn a lot to do with lighting. And trust me guys, by the end of that video, you will know so much more about lighting. So if you're interested in that, there'll be links in the description below. You can check it out and learn more. And you may have noticed in the cutaway clips, we did actually do the original lighting setup that I had planned, but we did this in the small corner of the infinity wall, where you could still have, there's still enough space to get the white wall in the background. And the way I lit this was basically two of those Arri lights that had one set to a certain color, lighting the bottom right, and another set to another color, lighting the top left. Setting them to different colors created this more color gradient in my photo. But the one thing that I wish I did, and the one mistake that I made, was not having extra RGB lights to fill in the parts of the background that wasn't lit by those colored lights. Because you can see in the thing, it has that, for example, the green and the red, but in the corners and the top right and the bottom left, it's just black and white, and it kind of ruins it a little bit. So obviously, again guys, I've never done this before, so it was just me just try and error, knowing how to do it. For next time, if I do it next time, I'll know just to have an extra 2 lights in those corners there to fill in that gradient. But overall guys, I really enjoyed lighting this because I'm so used to using like more tungsten and neutral lights, but I feel like neutral and tungsten lights wouldn't have worked for something like this because it wouldn't have fit the theme or the story I was going for. And this goes back to the outfits too guys, right? As a portrait photographer, you need to keep in mind every single aspect of your photo when you're trying to tell a certain story or theme. And you need to make sure all these aspects actually fit well together. So again guys, like the lighting setup and the outfits actually determined my lighting setup, because if he wasn't wearing red, I wouldn't have had that red light in the background. Imagine he was wearing a t-shirt and jeans, basic, like this outfit, quite basic, right? Imagine he was wearing this outfit. What would the color be of that light in the background? What would it be? You don't know. Is it blue? Is it gonna be, maybe would it be red? I don't know. But again guys, make sure to keep all these aspects in mind to get the best photos possible. Now onto the posing, right? Poses was definitely the most difficult part about this shoot because like I said earlier, Francis has never modeled before, and also I did not expect him to come in a dress. One posing tip that I would give you is to have your model interact with your clothing. So in this case, I had him holding his dress, rocking back and forth, adjusting his boots, etc. Another cool addition to the posing was this chair that we had. So for the last few shots of the shoot, I had him sitting on the windowsill, then I had his feet on the chair as support. I think this turned out really well because it creates that shape and depth in his body, which is definitely something that you want. So when I'm posing my models, I like to create as much shape and depth within my model's body. So I had him on a slight angle facing away from the camera to create that shape and that more 3D look compared if he was looking straight onto the camera where he doesn't have as much shape. And because he was going for this more feminine look, I had him doing more elegant poses with his hands and feet. So I had him pointing his toes slightly when he was sitting down, or maybe bending his hands in a certain way. And to be honest, he did most of the poses himself. I just had to direct him with some adjustments for the poses that he did do. But I do believe you need to have some type of pose ideas prepared beforehand, because you may not work with a model like what I did that knows how to pose or knows exactly what poses to do. I found that if I do a bunch of poses at the start of the shoot, later on in the shoot, the model naturally thinks of their own poses, because by that time, they've kind of got the gist of the style that you're going for and the general mood of the shoot. So they kind of, if they're quite good, they kind of know what poses would fit the shoot at hand. And if you're struggling with posing your models, guys, I actually have an older video which I'll put up here where I'll just go over some posing tips that helped me improve my posing. So if you want to learn more about posing, check that out after this video. In terms of equipment used, guys, I basically use the same equipment on every shoot I do now. So I had my 2 small rig 220 watt cob lights with my Godox 90cm parabolic softboxes. I'll link these all below, by the way, if you're kind of confused of what these are. I'll link them below anyway. And also I had my Arri, well, not my, but I had the Arri L5C, of course, to get that red accent in the background. Not my light, of course, probably shouldn't have to buy that one. Again, guys, like I said in the lighting section, just get an RGB light that is powerful enough to get that same effect, or just get a gel, really. You could get you could get a third 220 watt cob light, or even like a 120 watt cob light, and just put a gel on it. For cameras and lenses, I use my Canon R6 as always as my camera body, and I use my EF 24-70. I use a Sigma EF 24-70 this time, and an RF 85mm f2. I use the 24-70 for basically every single shot. Some shots use 85mm, but for the most part, it was 24-70. And on top of the lenses, I use my Prism Lens Effects Nostalgia filter. And what that basically does, it just makes your film and your photos have this more film look to them, and it makes it look more nostalgic in a way. So yeah, but overall, guys, a very simple and inexpensive equipment list. Something that is very doable and you guys can afford yourself, most likely. Might take a little bit of work to do, but again, guys, I've been doing it for a couple of years now. I've built up that money. I've been able to afford this type of stuff, but again, it's not super unreachable, super expensive type of stuff. Anyway, guys, that is it for the video. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys found this useful. Sorry guys if this wasn't edited the same way as the first episode of Road to Vogue. I was going to do this more vlog style. I was planning on doing this more vlog style type of content that day and for this shoot, but guys, because of that, the compromises of like the lecture going on, the set being there, I felt like I had to really focus on the photos rather than vlogging for the video. I'm sorry guys, photos over the vlog. I know, whatever. I was under a time crunch, okay? So yeah, and also Francis, it was his first time modeling as well, so I felt the need to play some music on the shoot itself just to calm his nerves a bit. Obviously, I can't play those clips or play the audio for those clips because it's copyrighted music, unless I play some non-copyrighted music on the shoot someday, but copyrighted music, can't really show the audio for that. But for my next shoot, I will be planning on doing this more vlog style type of content. So look out for the next Road to Vogue series. I will be trying to prioritize vlogging and less talking head like this, but you guys may like the talking head like this. I think I like doing this because I really get to explain to you guys my thought process behind these shoots, but on the day I like to vlog it a little bit because it's fun to edit too. And like I said in my intro, guys, if you want more personal advice about your portrait photography and you want to learn even more about portrait photography beyond these YouTube videos, again, guys, top links in the description is my one-to-one portrait photography coaching program, where I'll go over your work and give you personal advice that is tailored to you, which will definitely help you out in your portrait photography. And also, guys, like I said in my lighting section, if you want to learn more about the basics of lighting, my lighting course is linked below. I'll just go over all the basics of portrait lighting, lighting techniques, how to light with intention, how to create a story with your lighting, color temperature, strobes versus continuous, all this type of stuff. It's again, like I said in the thing, it's very detailed, about an hour long. So I think after that video, you'll learn so much more about lighting. So again, guys, if you're interested in that, that is linked below where you can check it out. And it's only £25, so £25 for an hour of knowledge. I think that's worth it if you ask me. But yeah, and also guys, if you're struggling with the basics of your camera, so you don't really know much about aperture, ISO, shutter speed, and you want to start shooting fully manual, guys, I have my free exposure triangle guide video course, which is also linked below, where I'll go over the basics of lighting. So I'll go over, again, aperture, ISO, shutter speed, and I'll also go over how to approach these settings depending on the photo taking scenario that you're in. So if you want this guide, all you need to do is click my link below, which is my website, scroll down a bit, see this little block, put your name, email address in, click get your guide, and I'll send you that guide for free. And now guys, that is it. Click on any of these videos here to learn more about portrait photography, and I'll see you next time, guys. Goodbye.